There are some interesting things happening in the world of motoring at the moment. In the madly expensive supercar range, manufacturers are looking for more power while being less reliant on big petrol motors, and so far they've done a pretty good job. At the more entry-level end, manufacturers are looking for more customers while trying to make their cars more affordable, and they're doing it not by taking things out, but by adding things in. In the case of the new Toyota Yaris, more style, more comfort and more interior tech, and amazingly, none of that means it's massively more expensive than it ever was. It is a South African favourite, and with the update that it's just had, that's not likely to change. It started out as a cute, compact daily driver, and this latest generation has kept most of that recipe intact. They've done away with a bit of the cute. Well, almost all of the cute. The redesign means the Yaris is now more sophisticated. It's got a nice strong front end with some good detail, and the rear looks more grown up than ever. Overall, it is way more stylish than it's ever been. Previous Yarises, or should that be Yari, were basically bubbles with wheels compared to this one. It's now more sculpted and the front end is a lot more confident. The level of detail in the headlights and the way the fog light recesses are cleverly integrated into the rest of the design give this car more presence than it's ever had. It's the same at the rear, where it seems to have a wider, lower stance. It looks more sporty. All in all, an impressive styling overhaul. Oh, if you don't like the two-tone treatment, don't worry, you can opt for solid colours as well, but that option isn't any cheaper than this one. So, a bit more style and, as you might expect, a bit more power as well. Toyota have chucked out their 1300 four-cylinder motor in favour of a 1500. Now, I have said before that these days we are a bit spoilt with small capacity turbo motors. So much so that when I hear a test car has a naturally aspirated motor, like this one does, I do get a little bit concerned. With 82 kilowatts and 136 newton meters, there's not a whole lot to get excited about, but it is surprisingly good. Nice steady power delivery, doesn't get too shouty towards the limiter, and it's generally a very easy thing to live with. The Yaris is still the only car in its class to offer a hybrid model, but at over 300,000 Rand, you would have to be properly in love with the environment to splash out that kind of cash. At the other end of the model range, there is a 51 kilowatt 1 litre with a manual gearbox only. Our test car has also got a manual gearbox, but in this model you do have the choice of a CVT. Now, I honestly feel like I should wash out my own mouth with soap and water every time I say CVT, but in this car, it might actually be the better option. The 6-speed manual is, like the motor, generally very easy to live with. It has a decent shift action and good ratios, but this particular Yaris does require the occasional downshift when faced with a decent incline, especially on the highway. So the CVT might make life a little easier, and as an added bonus, it comes with cruise control. So far, all the things the Yaris has delivered more of have been good. The handling, well, it's more designed for city driving, so it's nice and maneuverable and it's comfortable, but it is also a little bit less fun than its competition. Asking this prettier, more sophisticated Yaris to take on some corners doesn't result in absolute thrills. In fact, if this car has one weakness, it's that it just doesn't like getting too racy. Which I suppose is forgivable in this kind of car because it's not exactly about doing traffic circle donuts. Mind you, no car should really be about doing traffic circle donuts, but I digress. My point is that the likes of the VW Polo and the Ford Fiesta are definitely more involving. One of the best things about the battle in this class of car is what it's done for interiors, with every manufacturer trying to find the best balance of style and spec and comfort. And the Yaris is particularly good, with strong driver ergonomics and good design throughout. There's no expansive hard black plastic here. Instead, a mix of various shades of grey, a nice combination of materials and just the right amount of spec to keep things comfortable. Everything you see in here is standard. Multifunction steering wheel, aircon, electric windows and mirrors. The 7-inch touchscreen is also part of the package, although it feels like it could do with a RAM upgrade. It is quite often irritatingly slow to respond. The Yaris has a good sense of space and there is decent room all round. The boot is a little on the shallow side, but you do get a full-size spare, and its packing space is still comparable to anything else in its class. The Toyota Yaris might be aimed at a more budget-conscious section of the market, but it still delivers more than you might expect. It's got great style, good interior, and a motor that delivers a decent drive, although I do wish it had a little bit more involvement. But for 229,000 Rand, it would be almost impossible for Toyota to cram more value into this package. The Yaris's naturally aspirated 1500 petrol motor delivers good power and is quite refined. Its only shortcoming is that it occasionally requires a downshift from the 6-speed manual for more challenging inclines. The Yaris is a strong competitor in its class, offering style matched to good interior spec and comfort. It's not quite as much fun as some of its competition, but it's comparable in every other way.